Take your time.
Good morning. This is the Blaine's
Good
World
morning.
webcast that can be found each week on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You can also listen in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can find more information and find out about past shows at our website, which is behind me, blainesworld.net. I'm your host, Blaine Greenfield, and I'm here in my Zoom studio in lovely downtown Fairview, North Carolina. Each week, we focus on positive news and information about things that are happening in Western North Carolina and throughout the nation. And toward that end, it's my pleasure to introduce two folks from Parkway Playhouse, and they are Raven Whitley and Erika Tyner. And you can wave to all your fans and friends you got who are watching this. I should mention that Erika and Raven are involved in an upcoming play that's going to be at Parkway Playhouse, I believe, this coming week. Is that it?
Yes, in a few
Week?
days.
Okay, and the play is Little Women. And let me start off by asking, before we talk about the play itself, a little bit about your backgrounds, because I think this is the first time maybe we've met online like this.
Mhm.
So, Erika, the question I always ask first is, in terms of your background in theater, when you grew up, where did you grow up, or where do you live now?
I grew up in Lumberton, North Carolina.
Okay.
And when I was 10 years old, my parents wanted to find something for me to do during the summer. And they signed me up for summer stage. And from that moment on, I have either had a play in the works or been thinking about doing a play or a musical. So, yep, since I was 10 years old.
Do you remember the first play you were in?
Oliver.
Or you were
No
Oliver?
way.
Yes.
And
And then the first play I directed at Parkway was Oliver.
okay, I did see Oliver at Parkway, but go back to
Did you like
Oliver.
it?
Uh, no, yes, I did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. But talk about Oliver. So, what was your role in the play?
Oh, I was the director.
No, when you were in it, when you were.
Oh, I was just an orphan. I had one solo. I think it was Marvelous. That's what I think it
You
was.
remember that? Well, keep that in
Mhm.
mind because I have this great idea, Raven. What I want theaters to do or a fundraiser for Parkway is everybody would create their very first role. So we do Oliver again instead of directing it. You'd be the orphan again. Give a chance to do it again. Did they record that? They
Yes.
they had it. So this way,
Oh no, no. I mean, I'm very old. I
yeah.
don't I
She's
don't
ancient.
I don't know if they had those sorts of devices in let's see, that was 1989.
Okay.
They did, but
But wouldn't that be cool
there
though?
actually is a video. I will say there is a
Oh,
video.
there is.
I
Okay, the
found
truth comes
when my
out.
parents moved, I found a big burlap sack of
Oh my gosh.
VHSs, and I made my family watch it. So yes, there is a video.
Let me get my hands on that. Okay.
Mhm.
We'll think about that though. We'll give her a chance to recreate it sometime if we do. But everybody would create the very first role. So the very first role you were in was Oliver. Then you directed. That was your first directing gig to do Oliver?
At Parkway, at
Yeah,
Parkway.
okay. So that must have been fun to direct something you'd been in as a kid.
Hmm. It was
I'm trying to think, when did Parkway do it?
2000. It's
That was
2024,
2018.
2018.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw. I'm trying to think. Was Mike Yao in that one?
Yes,
Okay, good.
yes,
Now
he
I
was.
remember.
That was the first time I met Mike, and he was so fabulous to work with.
Yeah, because I big fan of Mike's and a friend of Mike's, and so I see him in just everything he is. And now I remember Oliver, I remember well his part very well. So very exciting. So that was the first time you directed a Parkway. Do
Mhm.
you prefer acting or directing?
Oh, now I prefer directing. I think every time that I come into rehearsal, I get to act. So instead of just acting for an audience for 6 nights, I get to act for an audience for almost 2 months. And I love it. I love being able to take a step back and see everything and build everything and create and work with so many talented individuals who help create these worlds.
Now it's interesting, Eric, when I ask many actors that question, most of them say they prefer directing or they choose directing. They don't tell us the truth because the truth is you don't have to memorize the lines that way. So the
You
acting,
got it. How did you
well,
know?
that's people when they get not quite there, but when they get older, they say that's a problem. Memorizing dialogue. So that brings you up to then. So you directed. Did you go to college and study theater and direct?
Yes, so I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and graduated with a degree in adaptation for the stage. So I focused a lot on Southern literature and children's literature. And then after I graduated, I became a drama teacher in the nonprofit sector and realized I was pretty good at teaching. I'm not good at a lot of things, but I was pretty good at teaching. And I went back and got my master's in teaching, and I've been teaching in the public school setting for 21 years.
Okay, and what? So you started at what, 8 or 9? You started
10.
Exactly. Youngest teacher in the public school setting. And so are you teaching in public school setting now?
Yes, I teach 6th grade. Next year, I'm moving to the high school to teach drama at Mountain Heritage High School.
How cool is that, though? So you'll be doing drama in school. And same kind of questions, Erica. So when did you start acting?
I'm Raven.
I'm sorry, Raven.
That's okay. Just want to make sure we got that.
I see the name is off. Okay, so
oh, I know that is
okay.
confusing.
Okay.
So I'm from here. I grew up in Burnsville. Yeah, my family is from here for generations. So I actually grew up doing community theater at Parkway Playhouse as a kid.
Okay, do you remember?
And actually, Erika was my teacher in middle school, my language arts teacher. And there are some wonderful, beloved mentors and teachers from my formative years here in this play. In Little Women, there's Jenny Martin, who is also an English language arts teacher in the school system here for middle school, and Elisa Bryant, who Erika will be taking her place as the drama teacher, but she was my drama teacher in high school at Mountain Heritage. And so
do you remember your first role?
My first role, it's actually hard to remember the first one because I grew up, I started as a dancer. And from when I was 3, I was in dance. So I did a lot of that. I got my performance need out that way doing ballet class. And then I guess so my mom signed me up for various camps when I was young. The first role that I remember taking very seriously and that really changed my life, frankly, was in 8th grade. It was a play about the Holocaust called I Never Saw Another Butterfly. And Jenny, who plays Marmee in our Little Women here, was the director for that. So this is really just a full circle moment at Parkway.
It really is.
Generational ties and reconnecting these like old important people together. It's really, really special.
What was your favorite role you played up to this one? We won't say this.
Up to this one, my favorite role I ever played, I have to say, I can't not say this one that I just did last year in Chicago at Goodman Theater. I played Anya in The Cherry Orchard, and
she was brilliant.
That was my favorite.
And one last question, and I'll go back to Erika to ask the question as well. But so you did a whole bunch of stuff up till now. Yeah, but something that is in your bucket list that you want to do.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Her bucket list is enormous.
My bucket list is huge. But I have to say, just because it's fresh, because I was listening to it just now, Mrs. Lovett in Sweeney Todd.
Okay, exciting role.
But there are a lot. I mean, Todd Bland in Streetcar.
Musicals or drama? You have a preference?
She can do both.
I studied acting. I did not go down the musical theater route, but I can't lie. I think I'm a musical theater queen in my heart, and so I have actually gotten back into voice lessons, and I've started auditioning for musicals again. So I hope to do more musicals because I do love musical theater. I just didn't have the same level of confidence as a musical theater performer as I did
she should have
a straight actor.
I was gonna say that.
Did you both, I don't have the name off the top of my head, but did you both see the film came out last summer, the quasi-documentary about a summer camp where the kids went to summer camp. I forgot the name
I
of it.
haven't seen it, but it's called Theater Camp or
Yeah, that
something
was it. You
like
haven't
that.
seen it?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I really want to. That's been actually something I've
We'll
been
do
wanting.
that after
Yeah,
we open.
we should.
Oh,
Yeah.
Erika, yeah, you got it. Hopefully you can find it, but it's really so funny about the things you guys have been into. And then I'll ask Erika the same question. So, do you have a favorite role you played, both either directing or
Oh,
played?
I would have to say, um, eh, the favorite shows I've ever been in, I was in Godspell twice, and I
Love God's
yeah, it has my heart. My favorite role was probably Sarah Brown in Guys and Dolls.
Great role, yeah.
That was it was very sad when that was all over.
You need to talk about it all over. It's almost a shame because this play we'll talk about in a second, but that you're only doing it for 2 weeks. And it's a shame you put all this time and effort into it for 2 weeks. Same question back to ask Raven. Do you have a role you'd like to do or direct?
To direct?
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you,
I
by the way,
mean,
have you ever directed?
no,
Do you
I
want to? Do
never have.
you want to
I never
sometime?
have. What was that?
Do you want to direct sometime?
That's a great
It
question.
is.
I don't know. I my it's hard to say no because I just know that would be so valuable. I know I would learn so much and so much about acting. I think I would learn a lot. And I just think like expanding your perspective is so important in any discipline or industry. I will say I thought more about writing than directing, but I think I would have to start small with maybe like kids or directing like a summer camp or something like that. I to think about putting up, well, I don't know. I don't know. I would have to have a very patient cast, I think, in
Well,
the
the other thing
beginning.
I tell people, and I imagine Erika might agree with this too, though, but I tell people to become a stage manager. Have you ever been a stage manager?
Yes, as part of a crew assignment in college, I was a
Okay,
stage manager.
that's good because I contend, right, if anybody can do a stage manager, Erika, they're going to see what it's all about. So I ask you the question. So do you have a dream role that you'd like to either be in or direct?
Oh, so I also like directing musicals. So one of the ones that has always been on my list is Secret Garden.
Okay.
And I think it would be a great musical for this area. Um, I would also like to direct A Streetcar Named Desire. And we've never talked about that, but that's also something I would love to do. So maybe that could be in our future together.
Yeah.
Um, I I really, really want to focus on things that have meaning in today's world and that add magic to people's lives. So anything that has those two elements, I'm in for.
Did you see Secret Garden at Heart? They just did it.
I
Oh,
didn't.
it was the
Was it
best.
fabulous?
Yeah, beyond
Okay.
fabulous. And I can
Art is
see,
fabulous.
yeah, they do great stuff. But I can see that being a great show for you to direct. And talking about everything you said, it's magical. It's a beautiful story. I'm so sorry you missed it. You would have loved it. They just knocked it out of the park. Great job. So now let's segue into the show that's coming up. So you're doing Little Women. Was that chosen for you, or Parkway had chosen it, and then they asked you to both come in? How'd you get involved in it?
So I'll talk about how I came in, and then we'll talk about how Raven got involved in this project. So Parkway did choose it, and Parkway chose to use the adaptation by Kate Hamill. And when I found out about that and that it was Kate Hamill's, I was definitely on board. They asked me to direct, and I said yes. Um, adaptations can be good and they can be okay. And this one is very, very good. It keeps with the storyline, it keeps with the time period, and we still have all of these beloved characters, the four March sisters and Marmee and Lori. But this adaptation really focuses on Joe and how she sees herself in this Victorian era. She is a lady, but she says many times she doesn't know how to be a lady because she has so many dreams and aspirations beyond being the, normal Victorian housewife and mother. She still finds value in that, but she knows that's not for her. And so in this adaptation, Jo doesn't end up getting married at the end, and she really focuses on what she knows she's talented in, which is writing. Um, so that's another reason why I decided to do this, because I think that this story is very applicable to, this generation and our generation.
And Raven, who's Jo? Are you Jo?
I'm playing Jo.
Okay. So how do you feel about that? Are you disappointed, by the way, you don't get married in this, or
Am I married?
no?
I'm not married.
No,
You're
but I'm
not
saying
disappointed.
we said in the show, we
Oh,
heard.
am I disappointed that Jo doesn't get married? No, 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 no.
Talk to me, Raven, if you would, also about preparing for a show. I always wonder, like, have you seen I guess there've been a couple movie versions of this. Have you seen
Oh,
any?
yes.
Have you seen any of the movie versions?
Yes, yes, and they mean a lot to me. These movies, I love these movies. I'm trying to not think about them as we're
Right.
doing this
Right.
at all. I don't want to compare or
Replicate.
yes, or try to do anything that I've seen before. Um, but I mean, just this story is so beautiful to me and special. So I mean, the fact that it was Little Women and these people here in this place, I mean, I could not say no to the opportunity to come do this. But what was the question?
It was all really meant to be, because
Mhm.
Raven had this very short window of free time.
Mhm.
She's constantly auditioning and doing things. And so this month she was free. She was able to come to Burnsville, North Carolina for a month. And then when I asked you and I told you that Jenny Martin was going to be in it, which she's a former teacher
and a dear friend
and an icon,
yes.
and Elisa Bryant, who was a teacher, and
the fact that it's Erika, I had to.
Thank you.
I mean, I wanted to, and it just
You
was
jumped
all
in.
meant to be. Yeah. And we were just talking about this. Jo is not someone I necessarily saw myself as. I think most women can relate to Jo, or relate to all of these young women.
And that's what makes it so special.
Yes.
Is that there are pieces in each one of these
Yes.
females that all females
Yes.
and all people can relate to.
I wouldn't have thought in another circumstance that I would have been cast as Jo, but now doing this, it's hard to see myself in anyone other than Jo. And we were just talking about how sometimes when we're unpacking these scenes and getting to like essential drives, I mean, what is Jo after? I sometimes feel like I'm just talking about, I could very easily be talking about myself and the way I see myself and the things I want to accomplish and the ways in which those are hard to say out loud. Those things are like, those dreams and goals are hard to put voice to because they might seem to some unrealistic or whatever. And it's been really comforting to connect to Jo and feel like I've really I know this passionate place that she leads with.
And it's so funny, you said just before that you might want to do writing, and so Jo's a writer, so perfect timing. Let me ask.
Yes, and she writes these plays, these theatricals, and she acts in them as well. And she gets her sister Meg to act, and it's
like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland thing. We'll all get together, put on a show.
Yes,
stop it.
And
that's
it's a
my
show within
that's
a
my
show.
icon. Judy Garland. The fact that you brought up Judy Garland, I mean,
Let's have a moment.
This is all pour one out.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you said that because I was so disappointed. I was supposed to see a good friend that you may know, Chelsea Gaddy. Anyway.
Yes, I know of her.
Yeah, she's in Judy. They're doing that at, unfortunately, you're doing a show this week, but they're doing Judy at SOT. And it was
No way.
Yeah, I was supposed to see it last weekend and she got sick, so they couldn't do it. So they're doing it this weekend. I can't see it, but unfortunately won't get to see it. But it's a show, and Chelsea would be great in it. So if you're a Judy Garland fan, I don't know, it won't work out, unfortunately, the way it works. The question, also, Erika, I asked Raven, so do you have a feeling as a teacher, do you recommend people should see a movie version if there is before they do a show, or how do you feel about that?
Well, that's really funny because I am not a huge movie person and I've not seen any of the Little Women movies. And I told my cast that on the first day, and there were some audible gasps.
Just these movies are excellent.
And I will see them with you.
Yeah.
But I feel
now is not the time.
Now is not the time. Of course, read the book and read it multiple times growing up. But so I'm sort of a clean slate when it comes to creating this version of Little Women.
Raven might know, was it? I didn't check it beforehand, but Katharine Hepburn, wasn't she in one of the versions of?
She was, yeah. She was in one of the early ones, yeah.
Early ones, and she played your role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I think so.
This was for you. She did, but this is a role for you. The nerve of this other woman to take your role, it's written for you.
Oh, I know. Well, I have a whole issue with watching not an issue because I love the movie. I cannot deny that it's an excellent movie and it is cast very well. But watching the most recent, the 2019 version, is painful for me because I just so belong in that world.
Well, I don't know the 2019 version. Who was in that? Do you remember?
Oh, Saoirse Ronan, who's amazing, plays Jo.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh plays Amy.
Wow, what a cast.
Emma Watson, Hermione.
Right. That's
plays Meg.
Quite a cast. But the only thing Raven missing with that cast, though, it wasn't directed by Erika.
That's right. That's right.
So it was good, but it could have been great, had Erika done it.
Listen, we are the Greta Gerwig and the Saoirse Ronan of Western North Carolina.
It seems you have such a simpatico relationship. Have you worked together before?
No, I really only had Raven as a student in 6th grade. And I've told this story multiple times, but middle schoolers are deep and moody and emotional. And there was one day early on in the year that Raven was, sitting at the back of the class, and I was trying to get her, engaged. And I went up to her and I said, Raven Whitley, that name needs to be in lights. And I didn't think about before I said it because it was so true. But it was very true. And since then I have known that her name is going to be in on many marquees with many lights. I'm just really lucky that she came for this little brief
Raven, do you remember that
stint?
Do you remember Erika saying that?
I do remember her saying name in lights because it kind of became a catchphrase after that. And every time I've seen you since then,
we have to talk about it.
Yeah, or you said Raven Whitley name in light, or I mean, I've known Erika sort of by proxy through mutual friends over the years, but we haven't ever gotten to like connect or even hang out as friends really until this. But you did get me it's amazing. It feels like it's much needed. I've been deprived. But you did get me a birthday card one time, and it says name. It says Raven Whitley, and there's like
lights,
yellow stars all around it, and it says in parentheses name and lights. I don't remember that.
Erika, who should see this show? Who's it geared at?
Everybody. And I don't say that lightly. I think anybody who wants to be entertained by some fabulous actors, anybody that wants to jump into the magic of a different world, anybody from this area that likes literature, likes going deep emotionally, will love this show. And I will say, I just checked our ticket sales, and it looks like we may sell out for opening night, which is something Parkway doesn't do often. So it would be, if you want to go see it, all of you out there, I would go to parkwayplayhouse.com and get some tickets.
And mention, if you would, the dates and times of it, if you would.
Okay, so we open this Friday, which is June 7th at 7:30. And then we run June 8th at 7:30. And on Sunday, we have a matinee at 2:30. And then the next Friday, which I think is the 14th, we have a 7:30 performance. The 15th, another 7:30 performance. And then Sunday at 2:30 on the 16th.
Talk about, if you would, Raven, maybe one last thing here, in terms of why I love people to go to Parkway and other local theater, is how much time you put into it. You know, like, I don't know about you, but I'm a movie buff also, Eric, but I love shows because it's just a different feeling and they put so much time into it. How long have you been in rehearsal on this, Raven?
When did we start?
So we started, our first read through was April 28th, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's been, what month was it? It was about a solid month of rehearsal.
Most nights we did take
most nights, and then weekends, more hours on the weekend.
And people don't realize that. But so when you were rehearsing at night, every night, or you had one night off, or
you maybe have one night off.
Okay, but that's quite a time commitment, you know, to do a show. And I was saying before we got on the air, it's a shame it's only 2 weekends, you know, because put so much time and effort into this. You know, you don't almost like to have more people see it, but they better get
yeah.
But
you know, it's such a labor of love that, of course, I want to share it with as many people as possible, and I wish it could go on and on. But the rehearsal is just as valuable as for me, and I think for all of us. The rehearsal time is just as special as the performance time.
And we've talked a lot about the fact that we start rehearsal and then we have 10 minutes left of rehearsal, and we felt like 10 minutes have gone past.
Yes.
It definitely
time just flies.
And I'm sure everybody feels this way, but when you find something that you love and you're passionate about, time doesn't exist. We were there, I was there from 10 to 7 yesterday. And it felt like 30 minutes because it was, every moment was,
I wish every week was tech. I love tech. Yeah, I mean, I often feel this way doing a show. I dread it opening, because when it opens, that means it has to close. And I don't want it, you know. If I could be in rehearsal forever, I would.
If you would, Eric, one last time, mention the rest of the cast. So it's obviously
yes. Oh yes. Okay, so we've got Jenny Martin.
Plays Marmee.
Yes, plays Marmee. We have Rebecca Siegel as Meg. I am playing Joe. We have Faith Creech as Beth.
And I think you may have met Faith before. She was actually my Oliver when we did Parkway years back. And she played Anne and Anne Frank at ACT and was brilliant. So we're so lucky to have her in the cast.
I see Faith in everything. She's a big fan of her. It's great. Yeah.
We have Beverly Cranford. She is playing Amy.
She's making her Parkway debut. She just graduated from the Asheville High School.
Elisa Bryant is playing Aunt March and Hannah. We have Reed Atherton. Reed Atherton playing Laurie. Daniel Moore is playing Mr. Dashwood. That's the publisher. And Brooks. We have Alan Steele.
He's also making his Parkway debut. He just moved to this area. We were really lucky to have him as well.
And he's playing Mr. Lawrence. Bill Wygand as
he's the father.
And
what's really interesting about the writing in this is that the father doesn't have any speaking lines. He doesn't have any dialogue. Kate Hamill really focused on the lives of the women in this play.
And we have
a
special cameo, Ralph Hammond of Hammond Antiques here in Burnsville. That is a favorite among antiquers.
I think he was just rated one of the top 18 antique shops in the United States.
Yeah, he is a fine collector of old things.
So he makes a little cameo.
And we're actually he has graciously let us borrow some set pieces, some furniture from the era. And I mean, that's such a gift. That is something you really, I feel, can only get in a small town.
Oh,
That kind of trust, that we're not gonna, yeah. And as, yeah, he gets to play our sweet doctor.
And the last question is, after this show ends, just 2-week run,
I want to talk about it.
do either of you have other plans you can share or that are public yet that's going to be coming up the rest of the summer or in the fall? Anything you're working on that you can share?
Nothing for the rest of the summer or the fall.
No.
Going right back to auditioning and back to
Chicago?
Back to the grind. Yes, in Chicago. That's where I'm based.
Oh, great. And Erika, anything you're working on?
The next thing I'm working on with Parkway is the Appalachian Writing Festival.
Okay.
We are going to be doing staged readings of 3 plays that have never been performed. And we did our first Appalachian Writing Festival last year. And you actually interviewed the Appalachian Writing Festival winner's director. It was Minister of Sorrows.
Okay.
And Elisa Bryant was in it.
Yeah.
It was a 1-woman show. So we're having our 2nd annual festival coming up in September.
Okay, very exciting. Well, I'd like to thank you both for being available on short notice, and look forward to a successful run, and hopefully we'll bump into each other in person next time. And
well, hopefully when you come, maybe next weekend, will you look for us?
Yes.
You'll see, I always do. Anyway, hopefully that'll be the case. I also like to thank my producer, Cappy Tassetti, and have a great run, guys. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.